this Black History Month edition of our Truck Chat interview series from Work Truck. I'm Lauren Fletcher, and today I'm honored to speak with Nicole Ward, co-founder and president of the African American Women Trucking Association, and Tasha Springs, the association's advocacy and outreach director. Since its inception 3 years ago, this organization has been a driving force in promoting diversity, inclusion, and opportunity within the trucking industry. As we celebrate creating Black history today, we'll explore the impactful work that Black professionals do in fleet and trucking, the challenges they face, and the road ahead. Join me as we discuss the association's mission, its role in shaping the industry's future, and how can we all contribute to fostering an inclusive environment where Black professionals thrive. Welcome, Tasha and Nicole.
Hello, Lauren. Thank you so much for having us. It's great to be here.
Hello, thank you for having us.
So can you guys tell me a little bit more about the African American Women Trucking Association and its goals since its inception 3 years ago?
Absolutely. So it's been a lot of changes since our original idea and conception. We've grown into something amazing, something that's so incredible, creating history by the day. And I'm just excited that we have the opportunity to talk about it this time of the month. As we have celebrated 3 years, our mission started out to making sure that we're able to increase the representation of African American women and women of color in the trucking industry. That was our original mission. Sounds good, sound great. But man, we really got into this and we really started helping people. And it caused us to grow. The words start getting out and we're like, wow, how can we make this better? How can we make this a better experience? How can we make more change in the industry? Well, that's what we did. And so within the last 3 years, the mission's changed a bit. It's now the same as making sure that we're able to still increase the representation of African American women in the trucking and logistics industry, provide opportunity, provide education, provide resources, provide safety, health and wellness, and the list goes on. So now we have an umbrella of services and products, and everybody is unified, one team, one dream, and we're all out here with a mission to make sure that we're able to change the community of trucking.
I love it. Just a couple of things you guys are working toward right now.
Just a few hundred.
And Josh, I know you were really excited about the organization. What really brought you into everything?
Well, I like to say happy Black History Month. What brought me into everything was I was looking for somewhere I could go to share my story with people that my story would resonate with, which is Black women. I created Mindfully Aware Driving Solutions in, I think, 2018 because I was a distracted driver. I caused a distracted driving crash. So I wanted to reach out to an industry where I knew distracted driving was being a real problem. And in the trucking industry with nuclear verdicts, I was like, that's the industry, especially with Black moms, because I'm a Black mom. And I was like, okay, this would be perfect. It aligns perfectly with what my mission is for our communities, to be safe.
And since the association's inception, how has the trucking industry changed in terms of diversity and inclusion since you started? What progress have you guys seen firsthand?
Well, I could honestly say that within 5 months of our existence, we had an opportunity to be one of the 16 trucking associations to represent women. And so the FMCSA, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, chose us to be a part of the Women of Trucking Advisory Board. So that's a that's a federal regulatory board making decisions, aligning themselves with Department of Transportation and other regulatory entities that push safety, that push support, that push resources for our supply chains. That was a big opportunity for us to be able to spread awareness and really stand behind our cause. In addition to that, we were able to write a recommendation for sexual assault, sexual harassment for women in trucking, and write a recommendation. And we're also working with the federal government on that recommendation, which is going to take the next 4 years. So these are just some of the small community pushes that we've done as an association to ensure safety and some changes within our industry.
I don't know if I would say those were small. Those all seem like there's some pretty big efforts that you guys are working on.
Yes. One of the 100.
I would love to add something, because one of the things that I'm doing is like, I want to bring resources, recognition, and respect to our community because of like right now how the shortage is within the trucking industry. We are a demographic that is going to be needed along with the young drivers, the next generation of truckers. We're going to have to team up together, and that's where I come in with MAD Solutions, Mindfully Aware Driving Solutions, with bringing awareness to the distracted driving with especially the teenagers that are picking up their phones, because we have some young female truck drivers out there, and I mean, they're getting it. And I look at them sometimes on the YouTube channel, and I'm like, our ancestors' wildest dreams. This is Black History Month. We have to celebrate this. This needs to be recognized. We need to show appreciation because how important the trucking industry is, the veins, the transportation, the food. It's a ecosystem. Collaboration is the key to getting everything from point A to point B safely. And that's where I come in with safety and advocacy. So this is where I came. This is how, and I prayed about it. I cannot forget that. I prayed. I was like, please show me where I need to be. And boom, there's Nicole. So
No,
that's
there's
my
not.
story.
No, there's not Nicole. There's Anna. And I
Anna,
think it was something
right.
that found us all as a community. It brought us all together as women because we were all like-minded and had a common interest of helping other women, so, a certain demographic of women, but all women, and ensuring that they were safer. They had what they needed to thrive and survive. And that's been like a group of us as women and men mission since we have continued to push AAWTA in this amazing direction. So I'm excited to serve alongside you, Miss Tasha. We're doing great things in this life.
So I think that's a perfect segue. I mean, the theme we're focusing on this month is creating Black history today. And in addition to the efforts that the two of you guys are making, who are some other key change makers in fleet trucking transportation industries that you guys are seeing right now?
Oh, I can't speak about anybody that's not a part of our community because being part of our community, those individuals are saying they're taking on a different responsibility, as well as they're embodying our messaging. And so I'll highlight Rurik Pacific Company is one of a very large manufacturing company that's one of our partners. We really appreciate them using their power to drive change. In honor of celebrating Black History Month, we've moved our first loads with them. And what does that mean? That means we have an amazing agreement between them and our community where they're going to provide loads to our community internally. So they're exclusive to AAWTA members. We're excited about the opportunities it's posing and creating. And so that is what that has done. And so highlighting change makers that are able to contribute to driving change and providing opportunities to individuals that typically wouldn't have a chance to work with such a large corporation. That's incredible. So, kudos to individuals like them that are becoming change makers and using their power to drive change.
And with that, you mentioned earlier your connection to policies and FMCSA. How are these change makers influencing policies or practices and helping shape your industry's future?
Well, some of the issues are challenges that a lot of African American or women face in the industry is lack of opportunity. Lack of opportunity are barriers to entry. However, it's a combination of both. They create this crazy domino effect, right? And so you got to figure out ways to combat that. We talked about there being a driver shortage. Well, if there's a shortage of drivers and we have women, it doesn't matter race, creed, or what women that are looking to enter the industry and they need support. They need a certain level of elevation, a certain level of opportunity to ensure that they're respected, they're safe, and that they're able to come into this industry strong and proud and not feel less than just because. And so I think that's where the FMCSA and us working with them and other regulatory entities us collaborating and getting together and just understanding what issues are on the table and how can we all collectively get together and make them better.
And I like to add something. One of the things that I am doing with policy and laws and different things, I'm working with other organizations. We're collaborating for the laws, distracted driving laws, and the speed limiters and underguards. So it's things that I am doing with my business, Mindfully Aware Driving Solutions, where we're lobbying for change. So a lot of the issues that are hot right now is where I am with getting the laws changed because, it's not easy. One of the organizations I'm a member of, Families for Safe Streets, we are changing a lot of things. Like it's a shift happening and we're demanding that they listen to us because there's too many people passing away. It's too many people. And what I say is leaving the earth in caskets that are cars. And it's really bad. So we need awareness. We need to bring this awareness so we can all fight this together.
So, looking more at taking action, how can fleet managers and industry leaders help create an environment where Black professionals can thrive and continue to make history in trucking and transportation?
I think this is where collaborating in the areas that you may not have a certain level of strength is okay to do. Meaning collaborating with an AAWTA or a woman in trucking or a next gen for specific areas that you might not understand. So that could be bringing on the next generation. How do we collaborate younger people to make sure that they don't feel left out? How do we incorporate women and typically male-dominated industries to make sure that they have their privacy and, certain jokes that might have gone with the guys? Or how do we integrate change? And so we have that is one of the biggest things I think is great when we work with some of these corporations, especially where the one I called out early, Warwick Pacific, because these are corporations that are large that says, hey, we're great, we're amazing, but we have something that we're missing. Can you help us get better? And how can we do that? And each corporation is going to be different because their need is going to be different, right? But the first step is identifying how can we make this an inclusive environment? How can everybody work together, right? I didn't say we have to be in love and get married. I'm saying, how do we remain professional? How can we make sure that we survive with one another and just coexist in this space? And I think that's, one of the important aspects.
For me, funding is a challenge in discrimination because it's like discrimination. If you feel like you're being discriminated against and you want to get funding and you're struggling to get the funding and you're being discriminated against, it's like, how do you get the funding? Like you fighting this battle because I see it. I haven't personally tried to get any funding for anything, but just as going into the paid speaking engagements and stuff, I see a difference with speakers in pay. So one of the things that I see in trucking also is pay. It's like fair pay. Where is it? That has something to do with how you look at your employees. If you see an employee and they make you feel a certain way, you're going to incentivize. You're going to give them gamification. You're going to give them this. You're going to give them that. And you're going to be proud of that employee and you're going to give them all you got. But then it's another group of employees that's doing the same thing, but you don't do the same thing for those employees. Why not?
I think it's a really valid question to be asking. And it brings up the point that it is more than just pay disparity in a corporation or organization, but it goes across, as you mentioned, speakers and everything else. And something that we can call out our industry as a whole to make sure that we're recognizing and compensating all of our industry professionals in the way that they deserve to be across the board.
Fairly, exactly. Agreed.
So I have a dream of being able to help like different demographics without asking for anything, just showing up one day because I can afford to do this. I can do it. So that is a dream. And it's like, it shouldn't just be a dream. I should be able, hey, I'm Tasha Harrison Springs. I'm coming to your school. What do I need to do? And we sit down And there is the proposal. And okay. And this is what I'm doing with AAWTA.
Yeah.
AAWTA is growing. So everybody grows together.
So, I mean, we know there's still a really long way to go regarding diversity in trucking and transportation. What are some of those biggest challenges that are still facing Black professionals entering this industry today?
Barriers definitely have to do with finances, right? That was something that Tasha mentioned. Sometimes the opportunity is harder or are not there because the financial support isn't there or the financial resources aren't there. Our community tends to deal with other challenges, that are sometimes harder to overcome. We're single parents, we're transitioning to new careers. We don't have, some certain level of support. And so AAWTA wants to come in and change that, try to help make sure that we're able to provide what is missing to help with those type of transitions. Transitioning into a new career, becoming a CDL driver is expensive. You actually have to quit whatever job you have, go off to wherever for several weeks. And it's normally thousands of dollars. And sometimes federal aid isn't an option. Sometimes, scholarships aren't an option. And so just to start a career in trucking is a barrier in itself. That's a huge one to even get in the door. Now that you hurdled that and you've lost, you decide to almost lose everything to take a risk to get a CDL because you quit your job. Now you have to find a job. And that's the next part. You have to find a location. And now most of the time the pay is not as good for women than it is for men, especially if you're just starting within the industry. So now you have multiple challenges before you even start. And it's just unfortunate. A lot of women don't make it their first year because if they were able to make it through that first transition of getting the resources to go to trucking school, they can't even afford to survive or find a job or something that's going to support them after they got out. So this is what we're here for.
I love it. And you're right. I mean, people think about some of the side benefits of getting a CDL from the job, but the challenges with increased points and issues with the license itself. But just getting to that point, getting in the door, it's not as easy as just going out and taking a driver's test. So I think that's all really, really valid information. And it does change the capability depending on who it is that's going in for those and the support system that you may have going into that situation to begin with.
Correct.
How can the African American Women Trucking Association help address this talent pipeline issue that's in fleet and help attract more Black professionals and more women to this fantastic industry?
Advocating for more learning, wanting to learn, going into what is the next generation of trucking. Can I say that? They have the high school program that's starting with the young people wanting to drive trucks. So we reach out to them and they see how trucking is changing generations because generational wealth is being accumulated as you're driving the truck and you're learning to your finances and stuff, because we have financial people in AAWTA. We have a whole community of, especially a young person coming into trucking. We have all the resources that they need. And it's like, you are not alone. We're supporting you. It's like a family. We're almost like mothers because all of us are mothers. So it's like they're coming in and we're guiding them.
Perfect perspective.
So how can our readers and our industry partners get involved in supporting the African American Women Trucking Association's mission?
Well, first off, the first thing you could do that's always free is tell a friend, tell someone that you know that could use it. To make sure they follow us, www.aawta.org. We have a ton of benefits, free education. Every Saturday, we have a virtual education session. Tuesdays, we have Tasha that are coming up with her days that are offering a lot of safety tips and assessments. We have our other director, Natasha, that has a lot of health and wellness, that are virtual events and live events, help save your life, save a trucker's life, right? Because health is wealth. So there's a number of things that they can get involved with. But yeah, make sure they follow us on social media and our website just to figure out how they can get connected and what makes them feel comfortable.
Thank you, Nicole and Tasha, for sharing your insights today and all of the absolutely incredible work that's being done by the African American Women Trucking Association. Your dedication to creating opportunities and advocating for diversity in the trucking industry is truly inspirational.
Thank you. Appreciate your time and sharing your audience with us. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lauren.
So as we continue to celebrate Black history and accomplishments this month and every month, let's remember that progress is made by those who take action today. For our viewers and readers, if you'd like to support the African American Women Trucking Association or learn more about their mission, I've included their links in the description below. Together, we can help drive positive change in the fleet and trucking industries. Thanks for tuning in and stay connected with Work Truck for more conversations that matter.